All right, good morning traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and I've been away for a bit. Welcome back to the webinars. Just to what we go through here in these webinars is just to what we go through here in these. All right, sorry about that. We're going through live market analysis here that's based on our education. We have an educational course where you can learn about using Bookmap and order flow, how these markets work and operate, and then we have these events here so that you can apply directly what you've learned from those. This provides a foundation in the education. We have live trading afterwards on Wednesday and Thursday with Jay Trader for stocks and Scott Pulcini for futures. Again, this webinar here, these live analysis webinars, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, set the foundation. We have the live trading, and we have an array of other traders that we support with this education. So that they can trade any way that they want, but using order flow with an understanding of what Bookmap is showing. For example, right after this webinar, we have Tom B. In the Traders Lab. He'll be going through volume profile and order flow. Right after that, we have Doug Pless going through options and order flow. Very unique strategy there. And then after that, we have the Algo Boys, very specific trading, looking at algorithmic levels, and then looking for some sort of edge or advantage in the order flow there for the trade to work out. So these webinars here, again, provide that base and foundation. We'll go through any markets you guys want, anything that you find helpful. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Doug, for the welcome back. Tom, Rob, everything. So yeah, it's been a while, so I'm going to be a little rusty in here, but we'll jump right in. Let's go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in and let's see what's happening here. We'll look at the S&P E-mini. All right, now I'm looking at the 6E. Let's jump over here and take a look at the S&P and zoom out a little bit. All right, so just want to get a picture or a feel for what's happening right here and now. And then we're going to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Okay, so the here and now, well, you can see the market kind of creeping up around 7 o'clock on up into this 4,000 level. And we can see high liquidity there. All right, so the market kind of trades to it and goes back and forth here. 9:30 cash open. It retests the low down here of this swing here. And then comes back up and we get a breakout. Okay, we are now above 4,000 and it seems to be sustainable so far. All right, so let's take a look at some structure in here and we'll relate this to higher time frames. Okay, so just marking up some basic structure and understanding in here. All right, so let's go up to the drawing tools and we'll go with the rectangle, and you can see I made a shortcut here with the T. So if I just hit the letter T, I can create a rectangle very, very quickly. I can show you where those shortcuts are. It's under here, keyboard shortcuts, and then you can make them under here. So I find it very helpful. Escape to get out of the drawing mode is another one. All right, so let's take a look at this breakout here. And just understanding order flow here in terms of the market structure. And in fact, let's take off some of the elements in here. We're going to just start off with the basics here, and we're going to build out. I definitely want to look at the higher time frame, but right now we're going over the here and the now. So let's take off the point of control, and our VWAP here. Okay, and stops and icebergs. So we'll add these confluences on a bit later. Okay, I want to keep it in the subchart. There we go. Okay. All right. In fact, we're going to take the heat map down as well and just look at the well, let's take them all off here, and we're just going to look at best bid and offer, and this is what's creating the market structure. This is the price action. This is pure price action. There is no aggregation of this pure price action. All right, now it's already starting to break out again, and this is what I wanted to go through why it is more likely that it will break out. Okay, no, we got to look at the volume and other events in here, but this is why. First off, the momentum is to the upside. Okay, so we can see that it broke out from here. Now look at the pullbacks in this market structure. Okay, there's a little bit of a pullback in here, or just a consolidation period and a break. Look how it retested this area right here. You can't make this stuff up. And it bounced here and here. It made a higher high here, and we're coming back up. If we find volume, and we know we can see the volume bars down here, we're going to look at the volume dots in here. We're going to look for it to try to press further and explore higher prices and look for areas of other high liquidity to test. I can see some in the order book right here in the current order book column at 40.20, and I would be looking for a test into that area. All right, so now why? Let's take a look further deeper at the here and the now. Here's why. This is a strong breakout. Usually on a breakout, typically where it broke out from, you'll see it maybe do something like this here, and then it will, let me get the pen tool. A lot of times in the order flow, we will see the breakout occur here and then a retest where it broke out from, and maybe it consolidates and then breaks out again. Okay, in this case, this is a strong breakout and the move is up here. The consolidation is up here. Okay, actually keying off of this little level in here. And then we'd look for continuation. More likely we would look for continuation in this event. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the order flow for that to continue. So let's start to add on the different layers in here. Okay, let's clear the drawings, clear the pen, and let's add the volume dots in here. Okay, this gives us a tremendous amount of insight. We're looking at the structure and we're looking at the volume within it. When you start to see more buy volume with the green dots here at these higher levels, likely you're going to get a price discovery outside of the range, because it takes quite a bit of volume to move it outside of these ranges. All right, and we're starting to see that in here. We can see the move to the downside here. It goes back and forth, but then the buyers on the other side here, and then the breakout. Okay, so so we're understanding again volume within the price structure. All right, so for example, Tom B is looking at the price structures like this, and he's looking at volume profiles. Okay, and we can see that there was a lot of transactions in this area here. Look at the profile. Okay, this is the strong break. Even though there's strong volume in here, it does not matter. It's only at one little sliver here of the market, and then you've got the sideways consolidation back up here. This is your low volume node in here. Okay, this is how low volume nodes form. All right, so now if we see this exhaust and we see, we're still looking for it to go higher. Okay, but if we see something else happen in here in the order flow within this context up here, we'd be looking for maybe a retest into this area here and see if price can accept, because it certainly did not accept here on this breakout. Okay, it kept going, and we would look for that continuation. So what we would look for up here in this price structure up here is we would look for more buy volume at higher levels. Okay, and maybe like higher highs, higher lows, or even if it's kind of equal highs and lows, we're still looking for volume pressures in here to be skewed more to the upside. That is how you get in your volume profiles, you get your P-shaped profile. Okay, there's more of like a weak top that will be broken in that arrangement there. Okay, so here we go, some little back and forth in here, and here come some buyers. Let's take a look. Do we get enough buyers in here? Not bad. Let's see it. Let's see it now. We're looking for buyers right here, right now, and we're looking for the move up to here, 20. Right? Continuation of this momentum in here, and we're looking for these buyers up here. We're up at the top of the swing. Okay, you can see the P-shaped here. Right? Now we're just looking for more buyers. Okay, now this is going to be really telling here. Here's a retest back up here. Do we get buyers? No, we're getting sellers. All right, so we may get another move back down to here, or maybe the middle of the range in here. Okay, because we're not finding buyers. We're making a lower high in this little structure here. Here, there's no buying here. Okay, look for sellers right here, right now, and let's see if they can bring it back down to about 15 and maybe even 14 here. No, not enough. Now we're starting to see some buying interest up here. Okay, we're back to scenario number one. We're looking for these buyers to break the top edge. Okay, and we're looking for the move up into this high liquidity here at 20. Right, so we're reading it in here, and we didn't quite know. Right, we're looking for this scenario to unfold, and we're looking for the buyers in here, and we didn't quite find them. So we're looking at potentially the other scenario to retest back down here, and then maybe retest back up here again, and then get the breakout. Okay, so you know, the market has to kind of go back and forth and retest these areas in here. So here we go. There's more buying up here now. Did they accomplish? Were they able to break? Not yet. They should be able to do it on this rotation here. Do we get buyers? If we do, we should get the breakout now. It's been 1, 2, 3 times here, or 4 times, and we're looking for some size in here. Okay, now this is good. This is reading volume within structure here. Okay, you can see they just can't quite do it yet. Can't quite do it. But we're reading the volume within the structure here. We're still missing the other side of the trade though, and that's where the heat map comes in. Okay, where might it go to? And these are where the sellers are up here. Okay, so that's what we'd be looking for in this scenario. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, and we get confluence within these events. Okay, in the order flow, we're looking for our buyers up here. We're getting them. Okay, and then here's some exhaustion yet again. Still not able to take it back up. But are they on the bid underneath here? Okay, at a higher level here? Not really. So you know, we could see a move back down to our 14 level here. Now let's watch this one here, coming back up again. Okay, there's some liquidity here on the offer, and see that liquidity come in, and then we saw some sellers here. All right, so now we still may get the breakout, but right now we're looking for a test back down to 14 here. Okay, maybe a bit lower. Maybe hit some stops down underneath here around 13.5. Could even hit 12. Okay, but then if we can get another rotation back up here, we can get the breakout that we're looking for. Okay, so we're reading the order flow in real time and looking for these different scenarios to unfold. All right, let me get to some questions in here. Oh, thanks, Rob. Yeah, I'm yeah, like I said, going to be a little rusty here to begin with, but we'll just, you know, the best way to do this, it really is like, you know, is just objectively read the order flow. The more objective we are at reading what's happening, the more likely the outcome is, what I find. You know, once you start to get kind of cocky and it's like, yeah, it'll do this, it'll do that. Like, no. What is the market? What are the market participants telling you? That's what to read. So here comes our retest back up here. Look at them starting to build volume here. All right, so great. High probability we'll get a retest at least back up to the top of the range here, 17.5, 18. Okay, high probability there. Higher probability, I should say. Okay, because we've retested down here, and look at the pressure building here. Okay, look at this guy come in at 17 on the offer here. Now let's see, do the buyers take them on? Yep, there they go. All right, so now let's see if we can get not only up to 17.5, 18. Now we're looking for our 19.5 and 20. Okay, we've retested, explored this area down here. It's rejecting, and we're still finding buyers back up where it previously auctioned here. Okay, so I'm still looking for 19.5, 20. See how this it's just so the read in here was that we'd get it in here, right? Because of the volume pressure at the top edge. And it just failed in here. We had to rotate back down. We didn't get to 14. I thought we would. And then we saw this cluster in here back on the other side, back up to where it can auction on the offer up here. That's why we're looking for the continuation at this point. Okay, so I hope that made sense to you guys. This is where it gets a little tricky in here with the shakeout, or this kind of retest back down here. See if there's anyone selling, and there wasn't, or not enough, and we still had buying interest here again. This is when we're looking for, and this is where you can start to wrap a trading strategy around it, risk management strategy around it. In here, because of this buying in here, we can trade to the top of the range. Okay, this is 16.5. It went to like 18. Okay, take some off. Now you have a runner looking for your 20. Okay, now we haven't looked at the bigger picture yet. We're just going over the here and now, so let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture and what's going on in the order flow here. All right, but yeah, so far so good. Depending on the bigger picture here, you may consider getting out up here, or maybe you have some sort of other risk parameter in here of letting this momentum go until you see something different, right? You're going to have to give up some on that. Sometimes it makes you look like a genius, like you got out up here, that was your target, you're done, you look for the next one. Other times it makes you look like a fool because it continues on up. So anyway, let's see here. Let me go over some of the questions in YouTube. Geocap, yeah, we have a new product called Market Pulse. We just released. It's it's awesome. I mean, I just can't believe what these developers are doing. All these different tools in here, and the Market Pulse is another way of reading the markets because it's going to give you a different input. Right? This can give you an audio input. Yeah, Lewis, it works for anything. It's done by the aggressor. Well, at least the one algo we have right now is done with the aggressor, so that you can use it for any market. It does not matter. All right. Yeah. All right. Unfortunately, I've got to find a way to get it so you guys can hear this. Since I'm wearing headphones, and I find this to be the easiest for the webinars, but it might work. Let's try it. I'll turn it on, and we got to go back and look at the bigger picture, though, guys. Like it's really important. I just don't know where we are in the structure here in the bigger picture. But let's play around with this Market Pulse just to begin with. Okay. Oh, here, where is it? There it is, right here. Okay. All right, so I have one already on here, and it's volume pressure, VP. Okay, so let's play it now. Okay, so I've loaded it, or you can hit the create button. Let me show you more where you can find more information about this. All right, so first off, that's the most important thing. So get you guys going in the right direction here. Number one, just go to bookmap.com. All right, click on the more button here, and then go to the knowledge base. Okay, in the knowledge base, now you're in the user guide section of the knowledge base here. We want to be in the add-ons section, so click on that. And then on the left hand side here, these are all the add-ons in here, and then they're alphabetically ordered here. So here's market pulse, volume pressure. Click on that. Okay, there's a video in here that we put together, and you can watch this as well on your YouTube channel, and it goes through a couple different scenarios in here. Is quite in depth here with the text though. Exactly what this is, how it works, etc., what these things are in here, but I'm happy to go through it with you guys. All right, so anyway, the video here also I think you will find helpful. So all right, let's jump back to it. Okay, and yeah, this is still looking pretty good here. So let's see if we can get up a little bit higher here, up into 24, 25. I'm not too convinced on this here, moving up to 24, 24. Yeah, I don't know about 25 or 29, but we can see the bid up here at this higher level underneath. Okay, what was resistance here is now support. All right, so and there's 24. Okay, so you guys can see like that trade management, different ways of looking at this here. If you got out at 20, yeah, you look for the next opportunity. If your trading plan is to try to let this run with a your one lot, you'd still be in it, and you still have reasons for being in it. There's no reason to be out of it, okay, at this point. Okay, you're just going to have to go through the swings and the back and forth in here, and you may end up getting stopped out lower than 20. Right, so that's the risk that you take. That's the risk parameters, or the way that you trade. You want to take a look at and understand. So for example, higher a little bit. Now we're just starting to get into some higher time frame, and we're just talking about market structure here. Okay, the diagonal lines in here. So maybe you see a lot of selling down here. Maybe you want to exit at that point. Or maybe you want to wait for the break of it. Let it try to break below here, but then still see support, and then have it come up for another high here. I don't know. That's where you've got to answer those questions, how you want to manage this. We'll go through it, but happily go through it. It's really about your trading style though. All right, market pulse. Let's go back to that, and let's get it going here. So now I've loaded it. I've got it for the instrument. Let's hit play. Okay, once I hit play, you can see it's loading here. It also loads it in the subchart here now, and you see a widget here as well. Okay, now we're just doing it for the same instrument here, the ES. You can do it for any instrument you want. When you create one here, select it from the drop down, anything else that you have loaded right now. All right, so now can you guys hear that? It's already beeping on the buy side here. It's kind of a submarine ping. Did you hear that? No? You did hear that? Okay, yeah, it might be working over in YouTube. The OBS software will pick up on this stuff. That's awesome. Did you guys hear it in Discord? this little pop. OBS is great, and freeware as well. Pretty amazing. Okay, I guess you guys didn't hear it over there. Anyway, okay, so here now it says it's a standalone widget here, and you see sellers, you see buyers. You see this white line in here as well, and that is showing you a threshold. When the buying pressure goes over the threshold, you'll hear this pop, or you'll hear this sound. If the sellers go over it, you'll hear this sound as well. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting and different from other products out there, is gauging the volume pressure in here, and then showing it also in the subchart. Now we got a lot of lines in the subchart, so let's just deselect a few in here, and just look at the buyers and sellers pressure in here, in the market pulse. Okay, so there's a threshold here at 100 or negative 100. Look at the little green above the 100 here. Okay, that's when it went across the threshold. We don't have any on the sell side yet. Okay, now we might get it here. Watch and see if these sellers try to break this this trend line, or at least test probably down to about 22 here, and see if they test down into this liquidity here. Looks like they want to. I'm seeing sellers mount here. I'm seeing some on the offer. I'm seeing that selling pressure, so I'd be looking for maybe a test down to about 22. Right, and that'll be a break or a test of this trend line as well. Okay, again, just very simply reading the order flow, right, and then looking for these moves to unfold, and then that's where the trade management part comes in. And so it's the edge is in here in reading the order flow. Okay, so here's our move into 22. Okay, now they may come down to 20. Okay, some good selling coming in here. Right, so now do we see it in the market pulse though? No, not really. Well, let's play around with this. Well, let's right click on the market pulse and we'll go to settings here. Okay, and it pops it out here. Now you can see that I can control the window through the small widget here, and I can draw, move around the all the different settings in here. Okay, now the threshold is at 79. Okay, that's where it's set right now. Watch if I move this down, you'll see the threshold move down as well. Okay, I have to hit apply. There it goes. Okay, so now it's at 64. All right, now the volume is just volume. You either hear it or you don't. It has to go above the threshold to hear it though. The half-life, these are two important ones here, the half-life period and the training period. All right, so pay attention to this and how these two work. These are really the important settings in here. Okay, so the half-life period means, well, we'll go over the training period first. Okay, the training period says right now it's 10 minutes. So it is based on the last 10 minutes of data. And give me the threshold, or if it crosses that threshold within the last 10 minutes of a certain number. Okay, you can see the numbers up here that on the top here. In fact, let me show you again in the knowledge base here. Okay, so in fact, there's a nice little diagram in here that just is your go-to here. Okay, so I know they put it together. Come on, show it to me. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so here's the name of the instrument. Here's a mute button right here. Okay, here is the hide button. This number here is the maximum within the training period. So within the last 10 minutes, the volume hit, the aggressors hit 1105. Okay, and that's what we have listed. All right, so this will change over time. All right, now the other number in here, this one here is the you guys still hear me? Okay. Over in YouTube, can you guys still hear me? Okay. Yes, you can. Okay, excellent. Sorry about that. It looked like there was something wrong there with the OBS and it disconnected. Okay, yeah, we'll get it going here with the sound. No worries, Ralph. I'll play with the settings so you guys can hear it. All right. So right now, this training period is pretty long. Let's bring it down to, like, 3 minutes and hit apply. Okay, now you'll see the numbers change in here dramatically. Right now it's at 8 or 592, right? Now we still have the half-life period of the fall off rate that it's at 10 seconds. Okay, so now we're gonna get more signals in here now, and you can see it had to redraw it down here, and you saw these signals on both sides. This is where this is why we have it here in the sub chart, so you can kind of gauge it, like, well, I want quality signals. Well, right here it's not really quality, right? It's too high of a setting, because it's both buying and selling, just going bam 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 bam. Here though, buyers, not bad. Here, sellers, not bad, right? So it's giving you a little more insight there, and that's what the subchart lines are here for. So over this period in here, you can start to look for and try to gauge now, when you're going to get a signal or an output. All right, so that's the way to kind of use these here and gain some understanding. Now, the markets are ever changing, and volatility will pick up, and it's going to start to skew stuff. Okay, so yet again, though, our settings are our settings. This is what we have, so we may have to come in and kind of readjust a little bit. Anyway, let's bring down the threshold now based on these two settings of the half-life and the training period. Any questions on this half-life and training period? Threshold is easy, right? We bring that down, we hit apply. We're now it's down around 42%, and you can probably hear it now. Okay, now something's going to happen in here. We're going to get some volatility, and you're going to hear one really ping, or maybe both. Okay, and it might be on a breakout here. Let's see. See, it's hitting the threshold, so we're hitting the ping. Yeah, so more buyers than sellers here, clearly. Okay. So all right, now let's see. That was a big battle, right? It's a lot of noise. Well, I have it down way too low right now. I'll bring up the threshold. Okay, so basically that was a barrage of trading. All right, so let me bring the volume down a little bit more. Okay, so that was just back and forth, right? And you can hear the trading action. It's amazing, So, but who's winning the battle here? Well, so far buyers are. But let's watch this here. Okay, because if buyers can't continue to buy up here, you're going to see sellers come in. See how the sellers are trying to slam it back down? You can hear it. Now you can see it too. It's amazing to hear how these are actually coming in, and then relate that to the visual here in Bookmap. It really is. I mean, this was a battle in here, and it was back and forth. Now, we had our setting down way too low because there was a period there when it was really dull, and then all of a sudden it picked up. Okay, so look at sellers now. They're really trying to push it here outside of the range here. Not bad. Not bad on the sell side. You know, I like it. So I'm looking for sellers. Maybe we'll get a pullback here. And let's see if the buyers then try to pick it up. If they don't pick it up here at 23, if we don't hear buyers pick it up here at 23, sellers are going to come back down to 20. They're trying to drive it right now. You can obviously hear it and you can obviously see it. So most likely scenarios, they're going to drive it down to 20. Now you can hear the exhaustion too, right? Now here they are again. So still looking for 20. Anyway, I mean, you can see like I had it set way too low, looking for a signal, and then like we're waiting for some volatility. It did come in, and it was a battle. But who wins the battle is what we're looking for. So this was the battle period, and here you can see buying and selling on both sides. Now we can see that the sellers won this small battle. Okay, now look at this. Buyers coming back in, okay, trying to reach back up here. Okay, so now, but we haven't gotten a signal yet, right? So this is why we talk about this for years in here about who's in control in certain areas. Sellers are still in control. Okay, we got to see buyers back up above here around this 23, back up to, you know, top of the range here, if that's going to unfold here. Okay, so sellers are still in control. Right, and I don't see any selling or buying pressure come in here. I don't hear it. I mean, I see some, but I don't hear it. Right, so that kind of kept me out of like, oh, okay, you know, buyers are going to come back up to 25 right away. Well, they're not. Okay, here's some exhaustion here. Let's see if we get a little more selling down here at 22. If we do, I'm looking for the move to 20. Okay, now how are those sellers doing here? It's a lull right now, right? Not a whole lot going on. Did you win, Jay? Yeah. But anyway, guys, this is really this is like a. I've been kind of describing this like to the team as like a new. Look at this. See how like we come back up here and the sellers just slam it down, right? Just slam it down like that. So I don't know. I'm not really getting too much out of this right now. I see the buyers creeping back up. I see the sellers slam it right back down. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, but if I see sellers down at this bottom edge and I see a lack of buying up here, I'm looking for them to break it down to 20. Okay, you can also look at your high. We're at the high volume node right now. Same ideas, same concepts here in your volume profile. This is your high volume node. All right, well, what's it going to take to break away from the most traded level in here in this range? It's going to take a lot of volume, so we can listen to market pulse and we can watch it unfold here too. And play around with the settings, and like I said, use the subchart in here to give you insight. Like when did it give a good reading in here? Well, then, you know, adjust it for that. So this is creeping back up on low volume here. It's able to do it. Sellers aren't getting in the way here. Now we're getting our buyers. Okay, and boy, we should see a stop run in there too. We can turn on stop runs. Yep, beautiful stop run right there. That was that buying. Okay, So now let's take a look at, that was a stop run. So always what we look at this never a signal in here with stops and icebergs. It is a confluence. Okay, we know the condition of these orders, a lot of them are stops. Okay, this buying in here are stops. So what we're looking for is new buying. Do we get new buying up here? If so, we should get a breakout. 28, 29, 30. And they're starting to do it. Yeah, so you know, it's not, this is not very convincing though. So in terms of an opportunity, like, I wouldn't say it's very good. They're starting to, this is new buying in here, but you know, maybe they'll get on the hook here, and they'll be these new buyers will be the sellers down here in a stop run. Okay, we look for something that's a lot more convincing. Yeah, I like it too, Eddie. I think it's pretty awesome. Yeah, guys, go try it. I think it's free right now. Play around with it. So you see how this is, like, it's still doing it here. They, you know, it's still kind of creeping higher here, but not on really high volume. So you know, we're looking for volume to drive it away here, and we found it in here, but we weren't too convinced by it because it stops. Anyway, let's jump back here. Let's look at our bigger picture because we haven't yet. And you can see this is, see how this remains on top here. So you know, you can play around with that. There's a setting for that as well. But anyway, it's remaining on top. So I'm going to move it over here to a different monitor. And then let's take a look at our daily on the left here, our hourly in the middle, and then on the right, our 15-minute. Okay, and see what's happening in here. All right, so our daily chart. Okay, so well, I think we left off. Let's see here. I left on the 31st here. So down in this chop in here. And yeah, we see the move to the upside here. Nice move, pretty nice. And I know Bitcoin really bolstered higher as well. But let's take a look at this, and I'll just use the pen tool. It's just so much easier than the rhythmic tool. So hold on. There we go. Okay. And we'll use yellow. Okay, so what do we have in here? And let's just take a look at the same exact analysis. By looking at breakouts, acceptance, rejection, etc. So this one broke out up to and tested this swing here. And then it broke down and traded back down in this area. I really thought like we were going to get a test down to here. Somehow, maybe in these lower wicks down here, and we did not. It really kind of stabilized right in here. Lots of back and forth days in here, probably really frustrating end of the year. And then we see our breakout here, retest back to where it broke out from right here, and it continued on higher. Okay, so it continued on higher to where we found sellers come in here. Okay, now it could have gone higher. This is not showing us much in terms of buying pressure though, in my opinion. And then we see the sellers retest it back down to where it broke out from in this area right here. Okay, so here's our retest here. Now we're coming back up and retesting the high. All right, so well, that's good news. There's a couple wicks up here on that daily, and looks like pretty strong action here the last few days. Friday or and then today here. Yeah, I would look for, you know, this to continue on higher up into this range up here, which is let's clear this all now. And oops, sorry. yeah, looking for the kind of swing up here. So that would be what, 32, 40, 32. And if we can get up there and we still see buyers, we're looking for it to extend higher up into these ranges up here. So anywhere from 32 to 50 to these kind of mid 80 numbers up here. Right, so that's what we're looking at here. Here's our hourly in the middle. It's giving us a better picture, better understanding here. Look where the sellers came in. Look where the buyers are taking it right back. Okay, so and these are both strong on either side here. Sellers are strong, buying is strong here too, though. Okay, so right back up here. And I would go with the momentum in here, just looking for these buyers to continue on up and test our 32 area up here, maybe a little bit higher as well. Okay, 35, something like that. 15-minute, same concepts, same ideas here, just looking for those buyers to try to take this higher. Now we got to look at the opposite scenarios in here on these higher time frames, because this has been nothing but strong in here. As you guys can see, strong move here from the 19th on Friday, and then basically strong again here. Now these are regular trading hours in here, so not only the weekend gap but also the daily gap. Anyway, we're back up here. We got to see buyers come back in and try to break back up above. Okay, so far so good. Until we see something different, we're going to go with that move. All right. Ralph, how do I know it's new buying versus new selling? Okay, well, or a new buying versus stops, basically. That's really quite simple. We can look for our stop run, and here, let's take off Market Pulse for a second. Okay, here's our stop run right here. It relates to this volume here. All right, so and let's zoom in here now. Okay, and I want to show something else in here with this Market Pulse, because we're demoing it just within the ES here, which is good. That's good. We're getting a sound, another way of looking at, another way of understanding the market or sensing the market via sound. This is really going to be helpful. Now we have multi-sensory understanding. They're still selling. Now it's starting to dry up. Now watch these buyers try to come in and try to reach it right back to 29.5 here. And what that selling is can also be a stop run up into 30 and 31. And let's see if we get that. Interesting moves here. I mean, this is like a low volume move here, back up here. And we didn't hear Market Pulse, right? So anyway, what I wanted to go over in here, boy, before I forget, I might have forgotten. All right, let's see these guys push it here up at 29.5. Now I'm looking for the Market Pulse to we should start hearing the buys hit, right, and try to solicit a stop run here. Okay, and we'd be looking for that in here. Okay, look at them on the bid here underneath, and we're finding buyers. That's good. Let's see them attack 30 and then take it to 31. No interest so far. Okay, so we're going over stops. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, we'll zoom into this little area in here. So guys, still looking for it. It might start to exhaust out a little bit, but if we get the sellers on the other side here, then yeah, we can come back down to 26 or so. But let's look at this area in here. Okay, so how many transactions took place in here. Let me get the stops on chart as well here. Okay, this is really where we can see it. And let's see here. And let's take it all the way down to 0. All right, great. Okay, so here, 390 transactions that took place here were stops. That's just fact. Okay. Now the beauty of this fact here too. Let's take off best bid and offer for a minute. Like we can see precisely when these start to unfold. See the red line in here? This was a stop here to here. These were stops. It's just fact, right? We know this by the MBO data. And then another stop run up above here. And we know that these are 294 that were stops. Okay, and a stop run here. Right now, look at how much in our CVP column here. Geez, we're getting a nice breakout, I bet, huh? Look at the CVD or the CVP, okay, which means chart range volume profile, and you can see basically nothing but buys in here except for these little orders in here, right? Okay, so now we can kind of compare and contrast, right? So let's just take a look at this data here. All right, so how many orders transacted in here? All right, well, here's like, 300, 380 or something like that. Well, out of all of these orders in here, the majority of them are actually stops. Okay, so because we have 350 or so that are actually stops. So the majority of them are stops. So clearly it's a stop run, and the majority of the transactions within here are stops. Okay, now it could be stops to enter. It's true. However, we don't know that. But when you see events like this triggered, it's a stop run because there were stops in here triggered. There's more under on the next level and more on the next level. So it's cascading stops on the way up here. 3 ticks. Okay, 3 different price levels. Maybe it's possible there's a whole bunch of buyers buy stops in here, here, and here at these 3 price levels. I kind of doubt it. There will be maybe some, but they're probably duped. And we mentioned this scenario in here that they're probably positioned down in here going short, or in here going short and then getting stopped out in here. All right, so and what we're talking about in terms of this breakout here, it's kind of not a real move in essence because the volume behind it are stops. Okay, it's not people entering the market. So what we want to look at, here's your volume event, and this is something Scott Pulcini talks about. This is your volume event. What happens within that volume event? We know that it stops for the majority. Okay, in this case, and not always. Sometimes it's half. Sometimes it's you see a stop run, you go, oh, whoa, it's a huge stop run, and you take a look at it, and it's not a huge stop run. It's there's just a lot of other buyers in there, but it might look like in the subchart here like it's a huge run. That's why when we come in and compare them, now we know precisely out of these, like how many orders transacted in general, and how many of them were stops. Okay, so this move in here, and now this is what Scott does. He uses a line in here to kind of mark it up, and look at that area in here, and start to understand, like, okay, what happened after this volume event? That's what really matters here. Because if there are new buyers that come in, regardless of a stop run or not, it does not matter. Okay, if you get new buyers coming in, and this is new buying in here, anything after this that's not a stop run, and you can see how it's kind of flat in here, So this is new buying. This is also new selling in here. Okay, so now you can start to look at this area after the event here and start to understand like imbalances in the orders here, or of the players. There's actually more selling in here that's maybe off balance. Well, then I would look for, if you can get new buyers up here again, you're going to get another stop run up here, because this selling in here is going to have to be the fuel for the fire to the upside as they exit. Okay, I know that sounds kind of complex. It's not. It's really simple. Please ask questions in here to understand this, though. It just means that just think about it yourself. Like if you saw this move and you said, oh, that's BS, it's going to trade back into the range, and you started selling in here. Okay, well, you're going to be caught off balance up here, and you're going to have to exit, right? Unless you want to be stubborn and not exit and have it go against you like this and ruin your account. All right, so now look here again. This is what we're talking about. All of this in here, again, followed by a stop run here. Okay, all of this in here, followed by another stop run in here. All right. Now, again, these aren't, using the stops and icebergs in here gives really deep insight. But it's not to be used as a you know, a signal. It's not a signal service. Okay, it really gives you, we're talking about order flow, and then what stops and icebergs are showing you are the order types transacting within the order flow, and that is amazing. Okay, and we're able to put the pieces together in here. So look at this move, unbelievable. All right, now we kind of missed this move here because I was explaining all of that, and that's, I hate doing that, guys. I'm sorry, but you know, we're here for the education, and we're here for the live analysis. We did say earlier that in the higher time frame, we're looking for the move, because this is pretty strong momentum here. We're looking for the move up into here. Right, and we're even above that here on the hourly right now. So we were looking for the move up into about this 32, 33 area, something like that, and we're above it already. Here we are on the daily, breaking out of this range here, these two wicks up here. Actually, it's still strong, very strong momentum here. We might still go higher, but we're going to get a pullback in here, I would be looking for, and it's just a scenario to look for. Okay, we will look for the order flow to confirm the scenario. That's the way to look at this, this is where order flow can really help you. For example, if we look at the scenario here is like some profit taking up here, some stops being triggered, and a pullback. And a pullback to where? Top of the range here, 22, something like that. Somewhere around in here, just to retest. For the market can take a little bit of a breather, retest, and bounce off of here. So that would be the scenario that we're looking for. Now, does the order flow to support that? It's not even close right now. It's not even close to it. Okay, it's been nothing but buyers in here. Actually, I'm gonna take some of that back a little bit. Strong buying, some selling. Not the strongest buying up here. But they're still breaking out and they're still buying, but we're starting to see some sellers in here. Okay, this is a little bit different, where we saw like buying in here in the breakout. Right, so now let's look at the back and forth in here. Okay, in this range in here. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. We're going to talk about this range of price action here. All right, so let's just delete that now. Well, we can keep it. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at this in here. All right, so what's going on in here? Do we see maybe a slowdown? Do we see, what's the volume look like? What's the order book look like in here? Order book looks pretty strong on the bid here. This is great, right? Now, if we just get enough buyers in here, we should come up 45. right? They're starting to pull on the offer already up in this area at 44. I'm just looking for buyers in here and then hitting 45. Okay, maybe 50. Maybe we can get up to 50 here. There we go. There's 45 already. Okay. And let's see if we can get higher. Okay, another stop run. Yep, still on the bid here. Now, are we getting buyers though? The bid's up a little bit higher. Question now, do we getting buyers? Yeah, we are. Okay. Now there's a big seller coming in. The red area right there. And reaction was some selling. Okay, so reading the buyers and sellers within this price structure. We already broke out of this one as to creating a new structure. And now we want to go through and produce the same analysis here. Okay, about buyers and sellers within this range. Okay, and this is the range here from here on up. All right. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a switch here. Okay, we were looking for more buyers at this higher level in here, and now some sellers come in. Okay, and this buying in here is not so strong. They were coming in, but it's not the strongest. There's stronger sellers actually. Right. So now can sellers test it down to about 42.5? Maybe bottom of, or yeah, this would be the first one, about 42. Okay, where it broke out from. Maybe they can test it down to 40. Let's take a look. I can put best bid and offer back on. Okay. Correct, Ralph. The stop indicator just shows you the transactions of stop orders. We do not know if they are opening or closing a position. However, when you see a string like that we showed of one after another, that is pretty indicative of a stop run. And that is people exiting. Okay, it's an assumption, but we see it all the time. All right, let me get back to Discord. Anything in here? And let's move our market pulse back here. And I want to show something more on market pulse here. The ES Pro chart. Okay. Panamets. I'm not sure what you mean by Pro chart. You mean the Tradermap Pro? Is that what you mean? All these new products, and they're so good, you guys. I mean, look at how much insight we're getting with stops and icebergs. Look at how much insight we're getting with the new market pulse tool. We're even away from the market and we hear it. And then the Tradermap Pro, let me show you how much insight we can get with this. Okay, so we that's what you want to look at. So let's look at Tradermap Pro. I've got it up. I've got two different Tradermap Pros up. The first one here is showing from 10 to 1,000. So filter the heat map out, filter the order book out to show only 10 or more. So look at the, you can see like there's a spread in here in the ES. Typically you don't see much of a spread at all in the ES, but that's because I'm looking for a 10 lot in here. One order that's at least 10 or more. Now this one's 12, this one's 12. All right, so it's filtered not only the current order book here, but obviously that applies to the heat map. So what that means is this is where there are bigger players up here at 48.5 or 50, or on the bid they're down here. Now that's just 10 lots, okay, or at 43, and then down here at 40. All right, so this is a fascinating tool. This is where larger players are. So maybe you want to play around with this and look for the reaction to the larger player activity only and filter it out. Okay, now 10 lots is mildly giving us some insight. I've got another one here that's 100 to 1,000 lots. Okay, so and here that is. Okay, and what kind of insight is it giving us? Not much today. Not much. Okay, here they are way down here. Now, what that means though, if you're longer term, higher time frame trader, look down here at 31 and 28. If we see a sell-off, now match that up with your kind of market structure in here, just the same way that we're doing it, of looking at market structure. Like this is a big breakout from this area. Well, they're down here on the bid now. They were on the offer, now they're on the bid, down in these areas here. All right, so yeah, anyway, so if you see like some pretty big selling coming in and the structure starting to break, and maybe more on the offer, big red dots, likely the area would, I mean, if these guys don't move, this is where it's going to go, because these are where the buyers are. So here they come already. Look at that. All right, great. So where do we think they might go if this is selling that's coming in? Well, let's jump back to the 10 lots. All right, I'd say here 43. Okay, maybe 40, or I'm sorry, 41 and 40 as well. Okay, they should come in right here, right now, if we get our sellers right here at 44 and a quarter. All right, sellers, let's see it, and let's see the drop into 43. This is just fascinating to me. I mean, like how we can read, and these guys pulled down here at 43. Now they're down here at 41. There's our move to 43 already. Okay, but I still think it has more room to run here. It's 40 is looking better. Okay, we got to get those sellers in here. Now, what's fascinating about this is how we filtered out this heat map and looking at the larger players. So align. One of the suggestions for using this, play around with it and see what works for you. You may find that 10 loss doesn't give you much on the ES. It's going to give you a lot in something like I don't know, a lighter product like crude or maybe gold or something. But it also, the ES, maybe 10 lots is a little too much. I don't know, or the NQ. So you got to play around with it and see what you like, what gives you insight here. I just kind of threw 10 in here. I've noticed even in the morning 10 works pretty good, in the afternoon it does not, which is funny. It doesn't give me much insight. That was like a month ago, but you'll have to create a new Tradermap Pro at that point. Okay, because once you edit it, it's going to refilter all of the whole thing, the entire chart and historical chart. Okay, but look at the insight here. I mean, this is great. Okay, any questions? Okay, Ralph, let's see here. Ralph, you've been asking some really good questions. Is it pretty simple, Eddie? Is it pretty simple to connect Rhythmic and Ninja? Yeah, it is. We don't recommend it going through Ninja. They will strip out the MBO data, so it's better to uh, basically the best way to do it is use, and that's what I'm using actually, is download and install your Rhythmic Pro Trader platform, and it's pretty rudimentary. But then you can connect your Rhythmic I'm sorry, your Ninja and your Bookmap to this product here. So now you're getting good data directly from Rhythmic into Bookmap. All right. So that's one way to do it, Eddie. Yeah, there are other ways to do it. Reach out to support on that one. They're experts on that. Ralph, let's see. What's your thinking on the significance of stops opening versus closing a position? Okay, didn't we cover that? I thought I covered that for you. Yeah, just to summarize, I'm looking for what happens after the stop run. Okay, let's suppose it's a breakout trade and there's buyers breaking out from an area, but they're all stops, or the majority of them are stops. I'm very leery about that. Okay, I'm looking actually very likely there's going to be a retest to where it broke from, maybe even go lower, and maybe retest the high volume node of that range it broke out from. But if we do see buyers come back in, and it gets up into that area again, and you start to see big buying, I'm looking for them to continue the move and break out. And it would be a sustained breakout. Okay, so it depends, but understanding that context of the stops is really what matters. Okay, after the event. Does that make sense? It's like something happens and like I don't know, how do I put this? Like a bunch of soldiers go into battle, I guess. Let me see if I can put this analogy together. They all get killed. Is price going to, or did they really capture the battlefield? Not really, right? Maybe price hangs out up there. Maybe there's no one selling, or maybe the enemy's not willing to kind of recapture their ground again yet. Okay, or maybe there are. The enemy comes in and they're ready to ram it right back the other way. Okay, and then you'd look for those sellers. Jesus, this thing's not stopping. Look at this move, guys. I mean, this market pulse is just going crazy. So we're up at 50 now. Okay, Ralph, does that analogy kind of make sense? Like, you think about that battlefield, and like these buyers, like they were able to break through, and take on and capture some of the land there, but then they just all got massacred. Right, and if you do see the enemy coming in, let's say they're the sellers, and they're able to not only like battle with that ground, they're able to take it back down lower. Okay, so if those buyers break through and they're all massacred, but then there's another wave of buyers, that's what matters. Okay, so it will likely accept higher. Yeah, I mean, we don't know if it's if it's a buy stop, okay, we don't know if it's for opening or closing. True. Okay, again, if it's a short squeeze, okay, let's go through it again. All right, so here's like some shorts being hit, right? All right, so this is highly likely a short squeeze. All right, because look how the selling came in and it went higher, continued to sell, and these are all stops being triggered. Okay, so now there's a whole different array of scenarios that could be this in this stop run in here. All right, so but basically it's going higher because other stops are being hit and they're buying, and they're just aggressors, and they just continue to buy to a certain point, and then it basically stopped. Okay, right here. You'll see different stop runs in different ways. Sometimes you see this was very thorough all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4 price levels, right? Triggered here. Sometimes you'll see like this red line doesn't start until here, up here. So what does that mean? Well, that means an aggressor came in and started buying this thing up until they started triggering stops. Now the stops could have been triggered in here, but they were filled here, so they were slipped. All right, so it depends. There is a queue in the order book, right? If you put your bid in, like you're at the end of the queue until it comes to the front. There is actually an order queue also in the aggressors. So if a big player comes in and hits market buy, and they sweep the order book, they fill all of the liquidity at this level, and this level, okay, and then let's say their order is filled, they have the right of way, or like they're going to get filled first. Okay. Now what we're talking about here is we're talking about the mechanics, market mechanics here, really what unfolds, and Bookmap is beautiful at displaying this. Okay, I've never seen anything else really visualize this in a way to explain these concepts, because it's just Bookmap is so visual, and we're able to go to these sub-second levels. Okay, like true microstructure, not seconds, we're talking like sub-seconds down to nanoseconds. And we can display it all. So therefore these concepts can be visualized. So anyway, let's suppose the stop run doesn't happen until up here at this price level of 49 and a half. All right, so this is just one big player came in, swept the order book, and started to trigger some stops along the way. Okay, the stops might have been down here, but he has the right of way, right? His orders are going to get filled first because he's the aggressor. He's the one that swept the order book, and if he triggered any other orders along the way in here, now they are going to get filled up here. And that's how you get slipped in stop runs. All right, so anyway, we can go through this all in detail again and again and again, and we do. Our education, that's one of the beauties here in Bookmap, is we can cover things like this, whereas I think others have a real hard time going through some of these concepts, because you're looking at something like candlestick chart. You're trying to cover it in something like this. Good luck, So anyway, it's all here. The data is all here at these really sub-second levels if you want. Right. All right. So then let's go back and take a look at what we were just looking at here. Okay, we got to move up into 50. Okay, and then I can't recall where we left off. We were looking for we're looking at the heat map, or the Tradermap Pro in here, and where it might trade back down to in some of these levels, and in here you can see it, right? So this is where that 10 lot is. They're down, or 10 lot or greater is down here at more of them are down here around 42. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking for sellers are coming in, so let's see the sellers bring it down to 42. Okay, if they can, and now 42, maybe starting to pull, maybe it can go down to 40 then. Beautiful. Okay, look at the offer here, Tradermap Pro. What's the reaction here to this high liquidity on the offer? Well, they just pulled, but we're still finding sellers. So I'm still looking for sellers to try to take this lower. 40. Make sense? Let's see, Sam. Stops that close a position are more forced, so more aggressive moves. Not sure I quite understand. Are that close a position are more forced? Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, they're compelled. They couldn't take the heat, or yeah, maybe it's even a liquidation. And that would be an aggressive move. That is correct. Yep, exactly. So here's some more sellers here coming back in. All right, let's see them hit 40. Now I know these are small moves here, but like and why we do it in these very small time frames here is because it's just great education to go over the concept and then see it play out in the live market. But it's really key to understand, though, that these moves are fractal, meaning that these kinds of moves happen on all time frames. Okay, so the same idea, like a flag pattern in here. You can see maybe several flag patterns in here. Here's one right here: breakout, consolidation, breakout again. Right? Well, let's just zoom out and look at the bigger picture here. Oh, I don't have it in Tradermap Pro. Let's zoom out here, okay, in the ES, and look at flag patterns. Well, you could say that on a higher time frame, this is kind of like a flag pattern: move up, consolidation, move up again. Okay, so there's the fractal nature of these markets that can really offer a lot of insight. Guys, I've got to run here. I'm sorry. Guys, hit the like button, please, if you like this kind of education. We really try to offer you really high education that you don't get elsewhere. And hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel really helps us to continue to bring you more of this. So for example, we have Tom B up next. All right, he's and right after that we have Doug Pless. We have a beautiful lineup of traders, guys. I mean, all day long. Come to our Discord channel. It's fantastic stuff in here. Tom is going to go through volume profile in detail. And Doug has a very unique options strategy. It's amazing. So, if this is setting the foundation, ask these questions just like Ralph is, understand these concepts in here, and take it to the next level with these other traders. That's exactly what we're here for. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for coming. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow and do it again. Okay. All right. Thanks guys. We'll see you then. Take care. Get ready for Tom B.